When I became a mom, I expected that it would be easy to manage being a mom, a friend, a spouse, and a housewife because no one around me really talked about their struggles. I felt like a complete failure because I thought that I was the only one that couldn't keep it all together.
I expected to be surrounded by a village, but that didn't happen. It made me feel quite isolated.
I expected that my friendships would remain the same, and that didn't happen. It made me feel sad at first.
I expected to bring my babies home right away. Instead, we spent almost 3 months in the NICU, and that made me feel resentful and pretty jealous of other moms for a while.
I expected and I was told that I would receive a significant amount of help from my spouse, and that's not at all what happened. It made me feel overwhelmed and exhausted from never having a moment for self-care.
I expected to be happy and stress-free. But then my daughter had significant mental health and behavioral challenges. It made me feel heartbroken, guilty, alone, and like I was failing as a mom.
I thought it would be easy, but then postpartum anxiety happened and I felt like a failure.
I expected to intuitively know what my babies needed, and I found out that I didn't speak baby and I didn't always know. This made me feel inadequate.
I expected to breastfeed exclusively, but had little to no milk supply after being diagnosed with a postpartum thyroid disease. No one tells you about all the ways that can stop you being able to breastfeed. Not being able to made me feel like I wasn't good enough and my body was failing me.
I expected to be overflowing with gratitude and love, but instead, resentment and depression happened. It made me feel like a fraud.
I expected to see my son being born and get skin-to-skin time, but instead I couldn't see anything because I had an emergency C-section. It made me feel so sad, and I felt like I had failed my son.
I expected to feel more complete somehow. Instead, it felt like whole pieces of who I was were literally disintegrating, and it made me feel so lost and so guilty for wanting those pieces back.